Hello everyone, my name is Sam Skripchenko and now I'm going to tell you how European players change NHL. So I want to start that the European NHL players have played a large part in the development of the National Hockey League. But try to imagine the NHL without all this European talent. That's how it was in the first years of the National Hockey League, when 6 teams were made up almost entirely of Canadian talent. But the time continued, NHL was growing, Canada was growing, and it was tough for other areas of the world to attempt to compete on the same level as Canada. The first European NHL player. In 1965, after 60 years of National Hockey League, a Swedish man, his name was Ulf Sterner, became the first European representative to participate in hockey's biggest league. But his career wasn't so light, so Europeans continued to be ignored. But one man proved that European had talent. This man was defenseman Börje Salming. Salming played 17 seasons in the NHL and recorded 787 points, which remains a record for an undrafted defenseman to this day. But most European players didn't make NHL, so they went to the World Hockey Association, or WHA. Europeans in the WHA. It was founded in 1972 and it was an alternative league, much like the American Basketball Association was to the NBA. When the league began, there was a small amount of people in it. To help fix the lack of competitiveness, the WHA began employing European players since 1972, and men turned out large numbers, especially from Sweden. Growth of European NHL players. It was because Winnipeg Jets loaded up on Scandinavian players like Anders Hedberg and Ulf Nilsson. They were paired on the same line with the league's biggest catch, former Chicago Blackhawks great Bobby Hull, to create one of the best lines in all hockey. As the league grew up, it was clear that people did not need a WHL, and in 1979 the league finally merged with the NHL, and 4 WHL clubs like Edmonton Oilers, New England Whalers, Quebec Nordiques, and the Winnipeg Jets became NHL franchises. NHL opportunities began to arise for European with the start of the 1980s, with the focus continuing to come mainly from Scandinavian players. As the Cold War went on, it was difficult for an American audience to take players from the Soviet Union or the surrounding nations. Soviet goalkeeper, extraordinary Vladislav Tretiak, got a chance. Tretiak won nearly everything a player could win on the international level, but he never had a chance to win the Stanley Cup. Tretiak was drafted by the Montreal Canadiens in 1983, but never played in the NHL because Soviet government didn't let him. NHL draft in 1989. The 1989 draft was incredible for Europeans. This draft marked the first time a European player was selected first overall, as the Quebec Nordiques selected 18-year-old Matt Sandin with the first pick. Sandin went on to become the only Swedish player to reach the 500 goal milestone and the reach of 1,000 points. It was also at the beginning of the decade that Czech's goaltender Dominik Hasek joined the Chicago Blackhawks, and they began a career that made him perhaps the second best goaltender in the NHL. He was 25 when he participated in the first NHL game, but try to imagine what if this player started his career, for example, at 18. Hasek had a combination of flexibility that had never before been seen in North America. European NHL players today. Russia has been dominating NHL for almost 2 decades, and the players like Evgeny Malkin, Pavel Datsuk, Ilya Kovalchuk, and Alex Ovechkin are one of the greatest players of all time. But I want to talk more about Alex Ovechkin. This player is going to beat Wayne Gretzky's goal record. Wayne Gretzky is one of the best players of the all time, and Alex Ovechkin is going to beat his record, and only time can show us will he all do that. Thank you for watching.